Okay, my laptop says that I am live. Hello. Hi, how are y'all? I know that Sheri is finishing up her live stream, so I'm just going to wait for some folks to come on over here. That way I don't get started too terribly soon. This is really awkward. So, hi, hello, I'm Alchemist. Thank you all for joining me for the Mo and Friends Beauty Crawl. Shout out to Mo for making this happen. I am so super excited. So last week was our inaugural live stream crawl, and last week I swatched a whole bunch of purple eyeshadows. So I couldn't get through all of them. So I was considering doing a part 2, but then I realized, you know what, let me just go on through the rainbow. Let me see what I can do. So I got some green eyeshadow. I have significantly fewer than last time. So I just have like one smaller pile. But I love green eyeshadow because I think that it goes with my coloring really well. I have some on today. I'm using the Melt Gemini palette. Yay, everyone's joining. I'm super excited. Glad y'all can make it. So I also just wanted to show, I decided for green time that I would wear my MASH t-shirt, which is one of my favorite secondhand finds I have ever found. So I wanted to show you. So hello, everyone. I have many greens. So many. How many greens do I have? So many. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Nusha. That's really sweet. So I think that we can just get on into the green eyeshadow. I have my microfiber towels like I did last week. Hopefully this will go well. Oh, and my lip color is, I think it's like Witch's Brew from Be Elegant Cosmetics. So I just tried it out today. So let's get into these green eyeshadows. The first two that I wanted to show y'all are two little palettes from Igneous Cosmetics. Now I think Igneous Cosmetics might be on a break. I haven't seen them release any new things since they released these last summer, so I don't know what's going on with them. I know the owner is like a college student, so they're not like, so I know that since it is a one-person show, they're not always able to do everything. So right now their Etsy shop is on a break, but I love these two little palettes. I bought them last summer when they released. These are from a Canadian-owned makeup brand. I also just love that they come in these cute little tins as opposed to like your standard palette, because you can take these out and move them around. This one is the only downside to the packaging is that when I look at it in the light, it will blind you all. This is the Amazon palette. And so each of these has 5 mattes and 1 shimmer, which is really great because I love the Igneous mattes formula. I know it's not quite for everyone because they're super, super powdery and pigmented, so you have to be really careful. I always do my base and face products after I do my eyeshadow, so that is never an issue with me. But that's definitely something to consider, so I'm going to go through and swatch. I'll do the first row, and you will see. This is just from me lightly tapping in to the shadows. So obviously they're very, very, very pigmented. Let's swatch them. And there is definitely a lot of kick up when it comes to that. Yes, they are Canadian, and their customer service is super great because when I had originally gotten these, because the mattes are so pigmented, they're very soft. And the Amazon palette I got came shattered, but they were super, super sweet, and actually replaced all of the shades that had come shattered, and didn't like do the whole thing. So that way we could also be environmentally friendly, which was super great, just the ones that came shattered. So let me also get the bottom 3 from this palette. Oh my God. These are so good. They're very, you can kind of tell in the palette, they're very kick-uppy. That's just from me swatching it, but this is what they look like on the fingers. I have a lot of eyeshadow going all over my laptop at the moment, but here are these. Honestly, they're just so so beautiful, so pigmented. I love working with these because my preferred shadow formula are the ones that you can just like pack it on and then blend it out. And these are very much like highly pigmented, like even more pigmented than like Menagerie sort of shadows. And I really, really, really like these. So that is the Amazon palette. I prefer this one to the other one that I'm about to show y'all, but that's just because this is more like darker tones. This one is the Karoo palette. And this one has some lighter tones. It has this really fabulous kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like an in-between bluey green. And they just turn out so beautiful. So here are the shades. This is the top row from the Igneous Cosmetics Karoo palette. Those are just so beautiful. I also have one other palette from them, which is their Deep Sea palette, and it's just so stunning. And their shimmers are very like smooth and metallic, and they work really well. I prefer applying those with like a finger or using some setting spray to wet the brush. It's just so gorgeous. Okay, let's get this bottom row, but I have to blow off the shadows first because like I said, they're so pigmented. Oh my gosh, a lot of people are joining. So hello if you're new. So let me get that bottom row. These are so soft. So this is what these look like on the fingers. I love this middle shade here. I think it is so pretty. I really wish y'all could see what's going on with my laptop at the moment, but there's just so much eyeshadow coming off of there. So like I said, these are messy, but they're fun. So that's what the bottom 6 shades are, the Karoo palette. And it's really cool because both of those palettes were based off of like different biomes that the owner of Igneous was inspired by. And the entire collection you can also get as singles because the owner wanted to be environmentally friendly. And they're so good. They're such a good company. And I really hope they come back soon since they make just... Yes, messy but fun would be my merch. I love that idea. So let me, I'm going to save the mess on my laptop for cleaning up later. So next I have some awesome greens from the Pinky Rose Exotic Peacock palette. Now I absolutely love this palette in general because it has my 3 favorite colors to wear on my eyes, blue, green, and purple. So they're really, we have a couple of green mattes here, so like a really bright, vivid kind of green, and then like an olivey green, and then we have this really metallic one here too. So I'll get those in because I think those are probably the most greeny shades out of all of them. I really enjoy this palette. I haven't used it in a bit, but it was honestly one of my favorite palettes that I found last year. So I'm going to start swatching this on the back of my hand since I'm running out of room. This always happens so early. Now these are really nice because these are definitely a lot more buildable in terms of color and pigmentation than the Igneous or Menagerie palettes. I still really, really like these. I think that, I mean, I dig into my shadows anyway. So this is just a really nice formula. It isn't like my favorite formula of all time or anything like that, but it is very solid. It works quite well on the eyes. It's so good. Okay, now I have a few, let me dig into the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette. Now, I've been using this kind of off and on. I know not everyone's a huge fan of the Ace Beauté formula, but this is a really nice like blue and green sort of palette. So I'll just swatch some of the greens from here. I haven't used all of the shades in it, but the ones I have seem to be pretty decent. Like you definitely have to blend them a little bit more, but that's not something that I particularly mind. It's not like subculture level of needing to blend everything. It's just, they're colorful shadows, so you're gonna need to blend them more, and I'm very okay with that. So let's see. So many greens. Okay. I will go for Fiji, Mykonos, and Turtle right now. And Ace Beauté is a Black-owned makeup brand as well. That's very important to mention. So here are 3 of the shades from there, the greeny blue shades kind of up top. I think that I just love them so much. Actually, the other day when I was doing my makeup, I posted this on Instagram, but my cat Ivy was helping me do my makeup with this palette. She was like sticking her nose into the different shades, and I didn't let her stick her nose all the way in, but she was definitely sniffing it. And she helped me pick out like these 2 right here. This is super cute. Okay, so I'm gonna go now for these 4: anemone, algae, seaweed, and seagrass. I really love how pigmented and neon algae is, because a lot of times, so this is what I felt about a palette that I'm going to show probably next up, but a lot of times like online you'll see these sort of greeny shades and they'll look super, super neon online, but then when you get it in person, it's like a little bit disappointing, but this one does not disappoint at all. I really, really like that. So this, I think, is a really awesome blue-green palette if you're willing to work with your eyeshadows a little bit, which I definitely am. Now, to go for the one where I said about things being a little bit more neon online than in person, this is the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Pistachio palette. I still really like this palette. I think it's really great, but I definitely expected these 2 to show up a little bit more neon on my eyes when I use them. But, you know, I have other shadows that can do that for me, and I don't have a way to not blind y'all with this. This is still a really good palette, but I generally go for more mid-tone greens and not like, I'm not going to use this shade here on its own, just because I feel like when I use those sorts of shades on my eyes, they tend to look really muddy. If I'm using it for anything other than like a deepening shade. So I do really like this one though. So let's go, I think I'll start on this arm for, I don't know, I have like weird space in between here. Oh no. Also, I have this cat scratch on my arm. I'm fine. It shouldn't impact the swatches, but the cats like to sleep in the windowsill, which is great, except that's like right above where my pillow is. So that means occasionally at 3 a.m. they'll run across my face and body while I'm asleep. So that's what happened there. So let's go for the 4 shimmer shades from this palette. Okay, so these are the shimmery shades, and I think they're super great. BH has a really good eyeshadow formula. They just don't make a whole lot of palettes that I get super interested in color story-wise, so I don't own a whole lot of them. If they made more color stories like what they did with this collection and like their Weekend Festival palette and all of that, I probably would have been a lot more, I'd probably own a lot more of them. But let's swatch. Their shimmers are just very nice, very soft, and despite me not liking black and greens too much, I really, really like the shimmer that comes in this palette. I think this can be really nice and smoky and flattering. I get a little nervous to use those sorts of mattes all over my eyes. So I think like if you're interested in the color story of any of them, they're really good quality. But you know, I have my own qualms with this palette. It's not that it's a bad one, it's just not entirely for me. But let's get this bottom row of mattes here. So this is what those look like. Again, they're super pigmented. It's more that when I blend these 2 out, they tend to look a little bit lighter and a little bit less neon than you would anticipate from looking at them online. So yeah, because you can see it's like it goes on if you really pack it on, but I feel like I also wonder if that might be something to do with the like my skin tone as well. If it doesn't show up for that reason, I don't know. I do really like this mid-tone green here. These are the sorts of greens that I really go for, like really vivid mid-tone greens, and like olive greens I think are the most flattering on me. So I really do like this palette. It is really good quality. It just wasn't quite what I anticipated when I got it. But if this color story is something that you're really into and you want like an inexpensive palette that blends really nicely, you should go for it. It's just not quite as neon-y as I anticipated. So let's see. I have 4 palettes left. I might actually be able to get through all of these before the end of this live stream, which is a miracle. So let's go. I do think that it was worth the price. I do recommend like getting them on Ulta just so that way you can use a coupon. I prefer the pink and purple one that I got just because I feel like you can get a few more looks with that than you can the monochromatic green one. Or yes, if it is on sale at BH Cosmetics, you can get it from there too. I just, BH Cosmetics is not a brand that I ever really pay full price for, but so if you can avoid paying full price, that's fine. But honestly, full price is worth it for those. They're really good. They don't quite blend out into nothing. It's more that like the lighter mattes are definitely just like transition shades to build the darker mattes on top of rather than standalone shades, at least for the kinds of looks that I really like to do. So Certify Affinity 2, this is my other blue-green palette. I also still kind of want the Menagerie Whale Song palette, but like I said in my last video, I'm kind of taking a break from them at the moment. But this is honestly just such a beautiful blue-green palette that it looks like a cute-ass can of Sprite. You know? That's the vibe that I get from this palette. It is so lovely. So I'm going to, I'll get like these 4 up here first, and then we'll see what we can do. I'll have to end up swatching this probably over my tattoo a little bit. So we'll see. Crap. I went for the wrong one because I just see this. I really want to try more from Certify as a brand. They just haven't had too much that really appeals to me. They're, I think their Original Affinity one, which is that one has a little bit more of like a purple, red, yellow color story. I want that one. They have a 30% off sale going on. Okay. My wallet might be in danger. But anyway, let's get these 4 up here. And these are a little bit more dry than, let's say, the, what was it? The Igneous Shadows, but I still think that they're very good quality. I think that they're very buildable. So if you're someone who wants like a good blue-green palette, but you're not quite used to using color yet, and you can get some, it's not quite, I'm not going to say it's not quite as pigmented, but it's definitely more dry, so it is more blendable. So those are pretty easy to work with. And let me get those. There are 6 shades. I have 5 fingers. Oh well, we'll see. So let's get the first 4 and then I'll get the last 2. And I think their shimmers aren't my favorite formula. Oh crap. But I think they're definitely workable. I like that the shimmers in this palette are more duochrome-y. There is a really beautiful kind of blue-purple duochrome up top. So that is most of the green shades from that. I like the duochrome shimmers as opposed to just their standard shimmer formula a little bit better, just because I like getting that sort of depth and dimension. And so when something isn't like super chunky and metallic, I like being able to really just kind of get a little something different. So here are the last 2 shades, which I'm trying to show y'all. These are kind of duochrome-y. This one is really interesting because it can go kind of both blue and green, depending on which other colors in the palette that you pair it with. I think that this is honestly, again, this is such a great palette. If you're new to color and you want to try just like a full-on color palette instead of like a half neutral, half colorful palette, this is for you. And this is even just all of the greens. Next live stream that I do, I don't know if I'm going to be doing one next week or what. The next one I'm going to do all my blue shadows. So, okay, I think I'm going to work off of this little part of my arm for the last 3. So all of these palettes are not like all green palettes, but they have a lot of good greens in them. So I'm going to go with the one I'm wearing on my eyes, which is a Melt Gemini palette. I love Melt eyeshadows. I think they make really fabulous. Just, it's so good. So I did most of like the neutrals in my crease, and then I just put this shimmer goals on my lid, just because weirdly the neutrals in this palette just make my heart sing a little bit, which I don't get to say about most neutrals. So let me get these 4 greens. And I love Melt's shimmer formula. I feel like they have like one shimmer formula that's more metallic and one other one that is definitely a little bit more chunky. So the green in this palette is more metallic, whereas as you can see, that shade Gemini here, which I very much dug my fingers into multiple times, is more chunky. And I actually really like chunky sorts of shimmers. So let me get these on my arms so that way y'all can see them. Which order did I do them in? Oh, well, I don't know. So those are those shades. Like, I mean, I feel like y'all have probably seen the Gemini palette swatched over and over, but this is so, so good. I love the undertones of this. I think it's beautiful. It is really nice. And I think too, like now that I have a more professional job, and like they don't really like dress code you, you just have to like look nice for it. But I definitely do tone down my makeup a little bit for it. This is a really good palette for making greens kind of work appropriate if that is something you have to kind of tone down a little bit. Like I haven't gone full rainbow cut crease into my new job yet. I'm only 2 weeks in. So, you know, the Gemini shade in your Gemini palette practically doesn't show up. It's really interesting. It shows up for me if I like kind of smoke it out with these and do kind of like half cut crease with some glitter glue. So that's kind of what I do, but I also just like pack everything on and I have to use my finger. That is definitely one I have to work with a little bit more, but once I'm able to get it on my eyes, it is fantastic. Okay, so last 2 palettes. The first one is the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral palette. Now this only has 3 real greens across the bottom, but I really do like this. I like the greens that come in this. I really enjoy Menagerie's formula because I'm a pigmented eyeshadow hoe. I feel like, I don't know, I really wish they would make kind of a green monochromatic palette like how they did the little violet ink palette with the purples. But here's what this looks like. I really do like this color story. I don't know why I don't use this more often. I think it's very good. It's very fun. I especially really love kind of that middle row here. I should have swatched that during my purple one. But let's get these greens. Now, I definitely fucked up the shimmer in this one because I think I might have used a brush that was a little too damp in it, but I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences of my actions. I still think if you use a finger, it'll definitely show up really well, but I feel like with the Menagerie formula, if you have to be very careful with the shimmers to make sure that your brush is completely dry if you're going to apply them at all. So those are the 3 green shades from that palette. I think it's really fun. Also, I just want to give, this is not one of the green shades from the palette, but I really just want to give a shout out to Wolfling here, which is honestly just such a nice little duochrome. I love it so much. It's just so pretty. I like using that one for more neutral looks too, because it's kind of like neutral but not. I think it's super fun. Okay. Oh, the Menagerie Green Shimmer Hard Panned too. Okay. Cool. So at least I'm not the only one on that menagerie front. I think it's just because they make their shimmers so wet and so metallic that if you don't quite do things right, you're going to hard pan it pretty easily. So last one, I showed y'all this in my last live stream as well, the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette. Now, I like the greens in this palette, and I think they work very well. I don't like them as much as I like the purples, but that's mostly because, like I said, I don't care much for dark green mattes as like an all-over sort of shade. Just because, like I said, that doesn't work too terribly well for me with my eye color. But Level Up, I think, is a really, really great green. It is just like a standard, I don't know how to describe it, like the color of Barney's stomach. You know, like this is Barney's like main color, and this is like his stomach color. You know, like that's the one way to describe it. I don't know. I just love this palette so much. I haven't played as much with the blues in this palette just yet. I don't know why. I just haven't. So let me see where I can swatch these. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so those are those shades. So they're obviously very, very pigmented. I love Colored Rain's shadow formula. I think that they're the most, like, the least hit or miss eyeshadow formula I've ever tried. I think they're just, their mattes work really well. They manage to be super pigmented without being like poofy all over the place. What is it called? Fallout. They don't have a lot of fallout. There we go. That is the word I'm looking for. So they managed to do like really nice, bright, vivid colors. And I love them so very much. I am still very, very tempted by that Juicy Boost palette. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it because I'm kind of on a mandatory no buy for the next little bit while my job kind of starts up. But you know, once I have money, I will be buying many more Colored Rain palettes. So those are all of my main green eyeshadows. I actually made good time with this. Just like, look at my arms. Oh my gosh. So much eyeshadow everywhere. I truly do wish that y'all could see what is going on the keyboard of my laptop, just because I love these Igneous palettes with all of my heart, but they're poofy. They're very poofy. So, yeah, so next up, I know that Mo is live streaming. I'm really excited to see what she does, and she is like the creator of this live stream crawl. There we go. I'm slowly losing my words. This is how I am today. So now I know that y'all need the secret flower, and I will sing like I did last week because like I said, I've been watching a lot of Legend of Korra and Avatar. So, secret flower, secret flower. I can't not think of the Secret Tunnel song when I'm doing this. So, my secret flower is a daisy. And that is because, one, I was born in April, and daisy is the flower of the birth month of April. And also because my partner, Case, growing up, had a dog named Daisy. We don't know what breed of dog she was. She was like a Heinz 57 sort of mutt stray dog, but she was bomb diggity. So we have to go with Daisy for the secret flower. So, okay. Any last thoughts before I kind of pass it off? Let me just see. Yes, Emily Hanham, you do need to watch Avatar. I did not watch it growing up, but watching it as an adult, even though it is like, you know, a cartoon kids show and all of that, it's one of those that really holds up when you're an adult. And I'm not one that likes grown-up cartoons, because I find that like shows like Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons and Family Guy just like kind of creep me out a little bit. But I like kids cartoons that translate well to adulthood. So like that and like Gravity Falls and stuff. So Avatar is very much worth a watch. If you have not watched it, it is all available on Netflix. It is super, super great. And absolutely worth a watch. So are we ready to go over on Mo's channel? I don't know, because I'm basically... Oh, I also ended up watching Avatar the movie for one of my like Christian spirituality classes. It's very visually nice, but I really can't remember what happened at all during it. So, okay, Mo says, come on over. Y'all go visit her channel. I'm going to go wipe off all the swatches and watch her live while I'm going to cook some dinner. Bye, y'all.